Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Journey to Greatness. Day 8 of 365 with David McDonald, the GOAT. All right. All right. So, happy Thursday, everybody.
Day 2.
Good morning, Fatima. Good morning, Brother Daoud. All right. We're going to get into our meditation routine. I will see you all on the other side. Thank you, Daoud. All right, everybody, welcome back. Auntie Louisa, good morning. Pravina, good morning. Allison, good morning. Good morning, babe. Liz, good morning. All right, I'm going to get some water, but we're going to get into our journaling routine next. So when I return, I will see you all on the other side. Whoops. Okay. All right, everybody, welcome back. So, we just finished our journaling routine. Jazz, what's up, brother? Good morning. Nice. Benaz, good morning. Good morning. Let's see what we got here. Who else is on? Jeez, we got a lot of people. That's awesome. All right, well, here I'll get to that comment in a moment, but we're going to get into our reading routine and then do our quick review and then we can check in. So I'll see you all on the other side. All right, welcome back, everybody. Okay. So, good morning, just back down on man. Blessings, Stephen. So, everybody who doesn't know, Stephen actually is on the journey to greatness, also, as we all are. But he has jumped onto the Facebook Live also, which is awesome. And so he's doing his own version of the live show for his community and his friends that he has on the book, which is fantastic. So, Stephen, all the power to you in our linear journey together on this. Okay, so we have, and good morning, Amy. Good morning. Great morning. And AJ, good morning. Great morning to you too. Okay, so today we're just, deepening the understanding of what it means to be an effective advisor or salesperson to your clients. And so for everybody joining us for the first time, the book that we're reading is Ninja Selling. And Ninja Selling is a combination of both real life advice that can help us be more efficient in what we do in our daily practices. And it's also a sales book on real estate. And so the book actually was written so well that the concepts and principles from it are being now applied to other industries as well, such as insurance, such as finance, banking, stocks and bonds, anything that has a customer service platform or a platform where one person, the salesperson, known as the salesperson, helps the buyer or the consumer or the seller, the customer. So this book is actually really cool. So in this chapter 21, it's called Ninja Selling by Larry Kendall, and I'll drop the book into the Journey to Greatness. Actually, I'm gonna do it right now. I'm gonna drop the book into the Journey to Greatness Facebook page. So if you haven't visited the Journey to Greatness page yet, please feel free to check it out and like the page. All the likes on the page have been organic since we started this journey a year ago, which is awesome. And so our current book, fire. All right, so one second, let me just post this. Boom. Okay, so if you go to the Journey to Greatness page, you'll see that I just posted the book that we're currently reading. Okay, Ninja Selling by Larry Kendall. So in this chapter, we're going to talk about a quick overview from yesterday. I guess a highlight. The biggest one was innovate or die. So if you're a business owner, you have to constantly be looking for new trends. You have to constantly be building your business. We also talked about what are some exit strategies from going from the left side of the quadrant, Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad quadrant of wealth, to the right side of the quadrant, and being a business owner and running your business like the old tradition, or not the old, but the traditional way of continuously building your business and or building a business to sell it to make millions of dollars, like Elon Musk and eBay, or Elon Musk and PayPal. So in this chapter, we're talking about being a proactive and trusted advisor. So this was a gentle reminder to me, because I hold my clients so dear, right? But one thing in here that struck me really deeply was if a client ever says to you, hey, what's going on with my contract or my listing? We are failing. And I take that very personally and very literally. because oftentimes, especially during a sales process, a customer or a client may experience pretty much silence because the transaction is moving forward. However, there is nothing that is needed from you as the salesperson to convey to that client. But as a gentle reminder, this just given to me actually, and I'm like, okay, yes, I got to remember to always be in the knowing, to be proactive. Even when there's nothing going on in the transaction, the clients still are anxious. The clients potentially still are anxious. And even if they're not anxious or excited about the process, it's always generally a good idea just to reach out and say, hey, we don't have anything going this week. This is my update for you. If you have any questions, please let me know. And, when you're growing your business, it's like maybe like a second item on your priority list, because internally, that everything with the transaction is going okay. But at the end of the day, you have to treat everyone as if they're a top priority. And that is one of the variables, which you do, but that is one of the variables that helps bring it around full circle. So I think that's very important. So be proactive in the service that you're providing to your clients. So be the first one to arrive, which I think is great. So trusted. This book emphasizes a lot from moving from being a salesperson to being a trusted advisor, which I think is very, very important. When you are viewed or perceived as a trusted advisor, you don't have salesman breath, is what this book refers to it as. When you are coming from a place of abundance, even though you haven't closed one deal in your business, but you're coming from a place of abundance, you're coming from a place of knowing how great you are and what you have to bring to the table. And oh wait, hold on, world, you haven't seen it yet, but I'm going to take it over, right? So when you have that type of confidence and you walk and exude that type of energy, it doesn't matter how many transactions you've closed. When you self-educate yourself and you build your self-confidence, and then like with anything, you master the speech community, which just means if you're in insurance, there is a certain level of articulation and vocabulary that needs to be mastered. If I'm talking to an agent and I refer to an agent as as the seller versus the listing agent, my vocabulary is incorrect, because a seller is not a listing agent. And so that one difference can alter the perception or alter the idea of the entire transaction, the whole flow of the transaction, and potentially even make it fail. So, because some people don't think, oh, well, he meant to say listing agent, not seller. They just take it for its literal meaning, which is okay. But what I'm saying here is that one way to become a trusted advisor is to exude a ton of confidence, and not arrogance, not humility, but confidence. And the way that you can become more confident is by identifying what skills you need to improve. And then the second way is to learn the speech community of the industry. When you sound like a professional, when you have the education and the numbers and the stats and the information about the different markets and how things are moving, how long it's taking for them to move, what price they're moving at, right? And the popularity of the area, right? Whatever it is, or the popularity of the product, how many clients have purchased this product, with other people when you're first getting it, with other people now that you're introducing to your new client base, right? You're coming off as a trusted advisor rather than a salesperson. And then, like, for example, I have a property that failed an inspection. And so what that means is the buyer didn't satisfy the inspection. So I can get frantic. I can be upset. I can say, oh, no. But I'm not coming from a place of lack. I'm coming from a place of abundance. And so what that means is, in the event the seller said to me, hey, David, I wish to just rent that house. I don't want to sell it anymore. I don't want to keep it on the market. Because I'm coming from a place of abundance, I will say, okay. And even if I wasn't, I'd still say okay, but because there's nothing you could do about it. But at the end of the day, it's the outlook that you have on that, and you don't allow it to slow down the train that's going to continue to move forward. And so being a trusted advisor and not being desperate for money or desperate for a sale, people can feel that and people can see that. So one example that this book said is back in the 2006 crisis, when the market was very healthy, what was happening was they had clients that were coming to them and asking them if they should make these investments. They were putting on investment workshops every so often, and then the investment workshops stopped. So Larry Kendall actually teaches in the School of Business at the University of Colorado, I think it is. And he works at the School of Business at the University of Colorado. And so so he saw that, the market was changing dramatically, and he advised, or he consulted his clients not to make any moves in terms of purchasing. And so being that trusted advisor, not being forefront and having the smoke screen of, oh, I got to get this money. Oh, I got to get this next deal. Oh my gosh. It all means, by any means possible, right? Not getting into that whirlwind of being a salesperson or being desperate, not coming from a place of abundance, will allow you to think clearly. I have a client, for example, who brought something to me the other day. He said, hey, I want to go out and buy some land far off in the distance. And I said, okay, no problem at all. And I sold him a house 3 years ago, or 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. And so as I got to thinking, I was like, okay, this is interesting. He would like to sell his house, which for me is A-okay, right? But he would like to sell his house to go buy another house. Then I thought to myself, I said, well, why would he sell his house? If the circumstances have improved, if this has changed, if that has changed, from attentive listening, we're having a conversation, then why would he sell his house? If we're in the business to build portfolios for ourselves and then only liquidate when we are getting ready to make another move that might be better for us, every situation is different, right? And then everybody's, intention is different. But in my mind, I was like, well, I pitched the idea of why don't you try renting the house? And he's like, oh, well, I didn't think about that. This might be another option. I don't think we can do this. I don't think we could do that. And so I said, okay, well, call me tomorrow and let's talk about it. And I have a solution for that, what his concerns or what his objections are to that. And so my point here is that over time, your credibility and over time, your business practices will become more and more trusted. And the more you practice, just being a trusted advisor rather than a salesperson, the more that energy will exude into your transactions. And ultimately, your sales will soar. Advisor. So being an advisor, customers want to work with somebody who has both deep smarts and street smarts, who really knows the market and where it is headed, knows how to negotiate and how to manage a transaction. So people are looking for, a friend, a business professional, an advisor, somebody who they can trust, and somebody who understands really what's going on in the business world. And so being able to identify as a sales professional when to be proactive versus being a pursuer. And then it lists out, 5 rules of a salesperson or a sales professional. And rule 1 is showing up. So show up for work. Show up on time for your customers. Be visible and be there for your customers. Pay attention. So be present with your customers. Listen carefully. What they don't say is often as important as what they do say. Watch their body language. Notice the subtle and the hidden wherever you are. Wherever you are, be there. Tell the truth and keep your commitments. Create value for your customers. Look for ways to solve their problems and make them feel good. Put their interests first. There you go. That's good. I like that one. Don't get attached to the outcome. And that's the biggest one. If you're in the middle of a transaction and something happens where the deal falls through or the customer changes his or her mind, because you're not attached to the outcome, you're still moving and swaying. You're continuously moving forward. So you're not tied down to that outcome because people can change their mind. It doesn't happen all the time, but occasionally it does happen, and there's nothing you can do about it. Frankly, you can try to address the concern that is the stemming point for the mind change, right? But at the end of the day, people think what they want to think. They're going to do what they want to do. So there's no point to get attached to the outcome. Now, it's very powerful, I believe, mentally. It's very powerful mentally to help move the transaction along, especially when you're dealing with multiple partners within one particular experience or one particular process. Because there's so many energies involved in getting to the end goal, it's really, really keen that you stay positive and know that the transaction is going to close. Even if your reality is telling you something totally different, you're just preparing yourself for the next step or the next family that you're getting ready to serve. So regardless of the fact, just always be closing mentally. The Ninja Business Strategy, the science of abundant real estate transactions. So this section of the book, which is the last point that we're talking about, is pretty much breaking down how there's 120 million houses, I believe, or households around the nation. And around 80 million of those are owner occupied. And people are constantly buying and selling real estate. And most of the time, what happens is they are, if they sell a house, more than likely they have to buy a house, right? So if a client leaves a product, they're more than likely going to move into a better product. And so if they're going to be moving. People are always transitioning. People are always moving. There's always activity for the most part. And so pause. Okay, you see how I just did that? I said for the most part, but it's not for the most part. There's always activity, and that is my reality, period. And so people are always, moving. People are always making new decisions, financial moves, whatever it is. And so there is an abundance of business out there to be had. There's an abundance of people who are looking to be served, and that can be helped in their next move in whatever profession or career or product that you are offering. And so this book talks about not only holding that mindset, but also swimming in abundance. The 15% transaction rate means that there are approximately 15 transactions each year for 100 owners, households who you know. This does not necessarily mean that 15 of these 100 owners will do a real estate transaction this year. It means collectively the 100 owners will do 15 transactions. One owner may sell a home, buy a home, and also buy an investment property. That is 3 transactions for one owner. Having done your homework, you know there are people who want to buy and sell everywhere. You are swimming in abundance. Most realtors tell me they know at least 200 owners. That means they are surrounded by 30 transactions a year. So the statistics and the numbers say, and this is a kicker, because I'm going to throw one at you right now. Fastball right to the chest. Having done your homework, the statistics say that for every 100 owners that you know, household owners that you know, at least 15 of them, or out of the group, there will be at least 15 transactions or moving parts throughout a year. So if you know 100 house owners, at least 15 transactions a year for that client, for that real estate agent. If you know 200, that number doubles, etc. So the numbers say that, but you are the infinite creator of your reality. So what does that mean? Not to be confused. If I read this and I'm like, oh, I have 100. Okay, cool. Oh, well, I didn't do 15 transactions. Well, the numbers are the numbers, and those numbers are meant to be broken. Those numbers are a figment of somebody else's imagination. If you know 100 business owners or homeowners, and you say my number is 50, then your number is 50, period. And I don't know how long it's going to take for it to happen. It could happen tomorrow. It could happen a month, 2 months, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 months, 12 months, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 10. It doesn't matter. If you hold the reality and the knowing that your ratio is not 15 to 100, but it is 50 to 100, that is what you will manifest for yourself. And that's the thing to never get confused or never to overlook, because you are the infinite creator of your reality. That is you tapping into your highest level of greatness, understanding that your reality, what you see in your conscious, is not affecting your non-conscious and your creative non-conscious. So that is a really, really important thing to remember, because we can get lost in the shuffle of saying, hey, this is, because everyone else says it's so, because the number says it's so, because science says it's so, is that you cannot be oblivious to that most important thing, is that we have the ability to manifest, and that is the wraparound for life, and the confidence that you have to exude. Because most people say, well, no, everybody says that the numbers say this, but I say trust your imagination and know your greatness, and when you come from that place, you will produce at a very high level, and you will help a lot of people step into their greatness also. So I think that's the biggest tie around, and I think it's awesome. So with that being said, good morning, Amanda. How's it going? And AJ, good morning again to you, sir. So I hope today's session was helpful to everybody out there, and you were able to grab at least one good piece of information. I'm wishing everybody out there the best day of their lives today on this Thursday. Thank you for joining me on the Journey of Greatness, and please feel free to stop by the Journey of Greatness page as we work on developing content, and as we work on developing pretty much our presentation. I appreciate your patience, and I appreciate you guys and girls and everyone standing here with me throughout this process. So with that being said, I love you all dearly, and I will see you tomorrow at 5 a.m.